Good morning. This is Kelley Hobart from Alpaca Direct, and I'm here. I have all of this leftover scrap yarn, and I was thinking, what can I do to make simple gifts for Christmas? And I found this lovely coaster pattern. It's for felted coasters, and you can use your scraps to make this lovely coaster pattern. And if you haven't seen this before, it's by Barocco, and you can find it on barocco.com or you can find it on Ravelry.
We'll have it on our website too.
Yes, we'll also have it linked to it on the website. There was this other coaster that I thought was totally cool, and I thought maybe I haven't tried it yet, but I was thinking maybe I would make a felted coaster with this pattern too. It's called a slice of citrus coaster, and you could see on this one she has it looking somewhat like a lemon, but you can also make it look like an orange. And it looks really cute. I think it's a very fun idea for coasters. And so I was going to play around with that pattern too, to see if I could get it to show up when it was felted.
So people are coming online. So.
Good morning, everyone. It's so nice to have you here with me. And I have had fun playing around this morning with this lovely coaster pattern by Barocco Design Team. And it was really fun. And so I thought I would write down some things that you might want to think about when you're felting your coasters using bits of your extra yarn. And I wanted to show you some of my stash from home. And yes, Jim?
Oh, yes. So I just want to say some people are coming online from the East Coast and
good morning, everyone. It's so nice to have you here with me.
Colorado.
And I hope your weather's as lovely outside as it is here. Although fall is in the air and the leaves are falling on the ground. A lot of our neighbors are fast and furious trying to rake up all those leaves. And anyway, I'm kind of waiting for them to all fall, and then I'm going to pick them up.
We had a 70-degree weekend.
Yes, we had Jim, my husband Jim said we had over 70 degrees on the weekend. And it is, I think it is a record how warm it is for right now in our area. I don't know if it is where you are too, but
often it's snowing.
Yeah, a lot of times it is snowing. I mean, when we moved here, we moved on September 5th, and it was snowing.
12 years ago.
Yes, that was many years ago. Yep. So, but anyway, I wanted to show you all of my scrap yarns that I'm trying. This isn't all of it, sorry. It's just the ones that I pulled out of my closet for this project that I thought would be fun to use. And so I store my yarn in Ziploc bags. So you can see I have some ultra alpaca in here and some other miscellaneous alpaca. And then I have some pure alpaca, and I think this is Lamb's Pride bulky, and all different kinds of things in here. And then on here, I have some the baby llama by Haiku in different colors. And so I thought I would take these colors and kind of play around with them and make some coasters. And what got me started on this whole adventure was that I was looking for coasters for our motorhome. And you know how everything jiggles around. And I saw these lovely coasters, but they're made out of marble and they're super heavy. And our floors are solid marble. And the last thing I want is something to go flying, hit the floor and crack a tile. or one of the marble tiles. So I thought having felted coasters is awesome, because if it falls off of wherever it is when we're driving, it won't hurt anything. It'll just fall onto the floor.
You should ask them what they do with their scrap
Yes.
yarn.
Yes, Jim said, for any of you who want to post comments in the comment section, let me know what you're doing with your scrap yarn. That would be fabulous. And you'll also be entered to win one of our prizes. This week, I thought it would be for two. They're not actually two different fall colorways. It's just two different colorways that I just kind of threw together and that I thought was cool, and that you could either make one of these type of coasters, like this coaster that I just got out of the wash machine, or you could choose to make something else out of it. Now, this is Cascade 220, and it is 100% Peruvian Highland wool, and it's a non-superwash yarn, so it's great for felting. So that's one thing that you want to think about when you're felting, you're making felted coasters, is to use yarn that will felt. And so any type of wool or alpaca, anything like that, felts terrific. If it says superwash, it means that it's meant to be machine washable. That will not felt. So keep that in mind when you're looking through your, Yes, superwash will not felt. It's
So
meant to be
What colors do
superwash.
they vote on?
So for this week, I was thinking maybe just light and dark. So I like this lemon yellow. It's a very popular color. It's kind of, well, it's not really lemon yellow. It's kind of a lemon gold color, but it's a popular color right now. And then I thought the red and black, I kind of like this multicolor of red. And then I chose black to go with it because it has some kind of a tweed effect that has a little bit of black in it.
So they vote. What's the
So
colors they vote?
I'm just say light or dark, and that would be great. Yep. If you haven't used Cascade 220 before, it's kind of a workhorse yarn. It knits up beautifully, and it's a non-superwash wool. What non-superwash wools give to you is they give you less stretch when you make your finished garment. Say that you're going to make a sweater or something like that. It doesn't stretch out as much. Superwash tends to stretch a bit. And so it's lovely because you can throw it in the wash machine, but you just need to know that it will stretch a bit as we're going along. So I wanted to take a look at our coaster.
People are just joining, so maybe you can show them pictures of them too.
Sure. Let's see if I can find it here. This was the coaster pattern that I was working on this morning. And it's totally awesome. It's by the Barocco design team. It's a free pattern. You can find it either on Ravelry or on Barocco's website, whichever you fancy. And I just thought it was really cute. Yes. So anyway, I just wanted to take a look and see what some things, if you have never felted before, I'm just going to use this for kind of felting in general, and then things that you might want to consider when you're felting your projects, right?
So tell them about the discount for today too.
Oh, yes. So every week, whatever yarn that we're choosing for our prize for the week, that will be on discount for 10% off for today only. So let's see what our coupon code is. TT, is it a 1122, Jim?
Yeah.
Aha. TT1122 for 10% off of Cascade 220 yarn for today only. And the color choices for the price for this week are light and dark. So you choose, and then whoever wins it for next week will get 2 skeins of either the light colorways or the dark colorways. So I just wanted to take a look at felting and things that I think about when I'm felting. If you think of anything else for you advanced knitters out there, you can post comments in the comment section and also get entered to win the prize.
Scrap yarn ideas.
Yes, and scrap yarn ideas are fantastic because who doesn't want to use up every bit of their beautiful yarn? We don't want to waste. Waste is not good. So let's take a look at this coaster pattern, and I will talk to you about how I am doing mine. First of all, this one, this has been washed in the wash machine one time. And if you look on here, I had some things on here to write down when making your felted coasters. For one thing that you want to keep track of, if you want your coasters to match, if you want them all different, then that's fine too. But mine was made out of chunky weight ultra alpaca. And then I used a number 8 needle because I kind of want fairly thick fabric so that if I have some water that sweats on the side of a water glass or something like that, that it doesn't damage the wood that's underneath it. So I used number 8 needles on that one. And then I put the size of my coaster before it was felted and then the size of my coaster after it was felted. So this was 7.5 inches before I felted it. And then after it went through the wash machine one time, it went down at 1.5 inches. It was then 6 inches across. So it didn't decrease by half. It didn't shrink down into anything by any means, but it shrank down a little bit. Well, I brought this cup so that you can see. This is a cup from the house. Do you see how that's pretty big? So it's either going to need to get felted down more, which I can try again. I don't really like how it sticks up on the edge there. Another thing that you could do is I would at least felt it one more time, and let me tell you why. Because see how you can see some knit stitches here? So once all the knit stitches have disappeared and it's felted more than that, then I would feel comfortable taking a scissors and cutting it. the thing that you want to keep in mind if you're going to cut yours is this orange. Maybe I should have used more orange closer so that I would have, orange and then the oatmeal color and then orange in the center. Because if I cut these edges off, the orange will be gone. It'll just be two colors. You see that? So it's something to keep in mind as you're making them. And then also, I don't know if you keep your the information for your patterns, if you use the Ravelry portal, which allows you like a notebook to keep track of things, or you could just use a notebook. And if you do use a notebook, don't forget to write the name of the pattern, where you got it, and excuse me, who designed it. You felt all your coasters in the set at one time. So when you're felting, make sure you make all of your coasters at one time, because otherwise they could potentially felt to and look different. But if you put them in the wash machine at the same time, they're apt to all felt at the same rate and look more similar than if you felted them at different times.
What's that in the center? I mean, you can hold it up, they can see the center.
It's just where the center was. Yeah. But it's nice and dense. It is pretty nice. It feels nice. I guess the things that I have a problem a little bit with is I don't like that it's warped too much, and that I wish it was a little bit smaller, because here's my cup and you see how big that is. That's pretty big, because then you have to figure out where to put this big item, and maybe you want it a little bit smaller, maybe 5 inches around or 4.5. This is probably 4.5.
Get a bigger cup.
Yeah, you could get a bigger cup. This one is 3.25 inches across. So this one is, if you go from here to here, it's almost 6 inches. You can see. So it could use to be quite a bit smaller. You could also cast on less stitches. It told you to cast on 90 stitches, but 90 stitches is a lot of stitches. The beauty about casting on less stitches is that you have a project that gets done faster. And what's lovely about this particular pattern is it sort of like decreases at the top of the hat. So you do, you slip the beginning of the round marker and you do an SSK, and then you knit to 2 stitches before the marker and you knit 2 together. Then you do that all the way around. So let's take a look. I have my sample, and this is 90 stitches that's on here. Don't mind me. My cord and everything is all tangled up right now. So I have switched. Okay, 1 second, Jim. Just give me 1 second, okay? I'll move everything, I promise. Okay, 1 second. Boing. So I have this. Do you see how big it is? It's huge. So it gets smaller as you, it goes down to 7.5 inches, but really it doesn't need to be that big. So I have just changed yarns. It calls for 90 stitches. There's a couple of things that I don't particularly, let me just show it to you. So on mine, it calls for 90 stitches, but then it says knit 14, place your marker, knit 15. If you can do the simple math of 90 stitches, for every 30 stitches, there's 2 knit 15. So I'm not sure why they asked you to knit 14 in the very beginning. You think they would have you knit 15, place marker, knit 15, that's 30, and then do that twice more, that exact thing. Or actually do place marker, do this 4 more times, because it's 15, 30, 60, 90, right? 30, 60, 90. So this is pretty easy to do, but I was thinking that at least I would cast on 84 stitches, and I could even take, you want to take multiples of 2, because when you're doing your decreases, you want to have do a decrease on either side of the marker, right? So if I did 12 stitches, that would mean I could do 6 decreases, 1 decrease here, 1 decrease here for 6 times, and then be down to, down to no 1 stitch left, right? So, but yeah, so what I'm thinking is I'm just going to play around and see if I can't get decrease the stitch count a bit, because I know that it only, when it felted, we only had it shrink 1.5 inches. So if you want your finished product to be 3.5 inches, so you would go 3.5 plus 1.5, right? So you actually want this thing before it's felted to be 3.5 plus 1.5 is 5, right? Right? 3.5, 4.5, 5. 5 inches. So you want this to be 5 inches so that it will shrink down into right around 3 inches. So that's what I'm going to try and do, is figure out my gauge of what it was and just take some stitches off. And that will make it like, literally you could do your cup holder in about 20 minutes, maybe. Your coaster could be done. So, so I showed you that I have the beginning of the round marker over here. And I put it 7 stitches in. And the reason why I did that is because the beginning of the round marker, if you put it on the very edge when you're doing the magic loop method, this marker will quickly get lost. So I never put markers on either end of my magic loop. Did you know I did that, Jim?
No.
It just creates a problem, so that it makes it better. So the problem of losing your stitch markers and having them fly across the room is omitted. It's deleted. There is no problem anymore because I don't put stitch markers on the edge. You just have to remember that all my stitch markers are repeats, and all the small stitch markers are repeats, and then for the big stitch marker, that's the beginning of the round. That's how I always do it. So all you do to make this whole pot holder is you knit around and then you decrease around. So right now I'm on a decrease round. So all I would do is go to 2 stitches before the marker, and then I knit 2 together. It's very much like the top of a hat. Then I slip my marker and I do a slip, slip, knit. And doing it, slip as if to knit, slip as if to knit, knit through the back loop works just fine, because when you're felting, the stitches disappear and it looks like just a felted fabric. So you don't have to get too excited about how you do it. Usually people who felt with needles that are bigger, they blow the gauge out, which means they use a much bigger needle than you would normally knit with the yarn that you have. But I just wanted a thick coaster, so I'm actually knitting it tighter just to get that thick fabric that I am looking for. But you guys can do whatever suits your needs. You know what I'm saying? It's just my way of doing it, but it doesn't mean that you have to do it that way. It's just the way I'm doing it. So that's all you do. And then it starts to create this scalloped shape all the way around, which I really like this scallop shape. Don't you, Jim?
Yep.
Yeah, I think it looks pretty cool. What do you guys think about this scallop shape of this nice little coffee coaster? Don't you think it's cute? I think it's pretty cute. Yeah, I think it makes really, what do you guys think about receiving gifts from people, your loved ones, that they made something special for you? I know that Brandon, my son, he gave me a picture on a piece of wood, and I'm not sure exactly how he did it, but it's a picture of him and I, and it's on a piece of wood. And I still have it. I've had it next to my bed since he gave it to me on my nightstand. And I really like that. It just reminds me of Brandon and how much I love him. Brandon is my son. For those of you who don't know who Brandon is, he's my son, and he's a wonderful man. I adore him. I love both of my kids. They're fantastic young adults that are very caring and very loving. Don't you think, Jim?
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, we're a little biased because those are our babies, and they always will be, but they really are good people. And I am so blessed that I have the privilege of having those children. Boy, I thank the Lord every day. So that's knit 2. So this is all you do to create this lovely coaster. And remember, when you're doing your coaster, that you don't have to get overly excited about weaving in ends too much, because it's going to be one solid piece of fabric. So you would not weave in those ends like you would normal ends on like a sweater or what have you. But this is what the back of it looks like. And this is what the front of it looks like. And I just, while I'm messing around here, I just want to see something. Now, I washed this one time. Maybe I won't, because the thing is, if I try to cut it right now, these knit stitches might unravel. Right. So I kind of want to wash it one more time and see what it does. It's a little tiny bit warped. And, you know, felting is great in that you can kind of pull it to whatever shape you want to make it to.
You know, that
you could block it. Yeah, you could block it to make it flat. You kind of want it to be flat. I mean, the coffee cup sits on there nice. It doesn't seem bad. So making these little coasters out of your scrap yarn, it's kind of, I think to me, it's kind of organic look to it. And it's kind of an earthy look. So if you're anything like me, I like that earthy look. I'm a fan.
Maybe you could make one that's the shape of a new one. Like
I know, I was thinking of different things. Could you make one that looked like a doggy, or make one that, you know, looked like whatever it was? We could make them so that they have an M on them, and then felt it in place. Our it's not a motorhome, a motorhome.
Yeah, Newmar has that shape, that like wavy flag.
I'm just thinking that so our motorhome, the name of it is called a Newmar, and Jim was thinking that maybe we could use their logo for a pattern for the coasters. But only we would probably know what that was, so I don't know about that. But I think it's great. Anytime you could take these lovely scraps of yarn that are sitting in your closet, taking up room, and you can create things that people will enjoy using, it's good. It's awesome. I love it. So let's take a look. You guys, don't forget to vote. And we have the 2 colorways, light and dark, for the Cascade 220. And this is Peruvian Highland Wool by Cascade. And it is great workhorse yarn, is great for felting as well. And if you haven't used it before, you can get a coupon code, and that was the TT1122, something like that. And it's for 10% off today only. And then for this last week, we had this Millie Calori Baby, and it's a fingering weight of yarn. Yes, in the fall colorway was a winning color. And let's see if I can find that. And there it is. Thanks, Jim. Right here. I want to see who the winner is. It's Janice Lovering. Congratulations, Janice. All you have to do is get contact with Alpaca Direct customer service and give us your shipping address, and we will send that out in the mail to you. So this is the yarn. You got the fall colorways. Very pretty.
Janice,
love this yarn. And Jim said, yes, Janice Lovering, congratulations. You won this lovely yarn. Couple skeins can get you a hat or more. So I hope you all have a great week. This next week, I was thinking about talking about this. It's a brand new pattern that just came out. It's called Pressed Flowers Cardigan. And it is, can you see it there? It's a beautiful color cardigan. And it's using mosaic knitting. And it's by Amy Christophers. And it's hard to get to really, can you see it, Jim, in there?
A little bit, yeah.
It is beautiful. It's a beautiful sweater that just came out. And she is having a discount on it right now on Ravelry. If you wanted to get it today, I think it's like 20% off. So every bit helps, you know? And so I was going to talk about that for next week. So I hope all of you have a great week, and I will see you next Tuesday.